Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. Today we have our second delivery of the new bike from Trek, new road bike. They've been teasing us for the last couple of weeks about whether it's going to be an Amanda or a Madone or something else completely different. Um, it's probably a combination of all three is the best way to put it. The Madone is Trek's full-on aero bike. The Amanda is the lightweight climbing bike. And this is a combination of both the Madone and the Amanda. So it is something completely different. It's the first time Trek have done a launch where they've replaced, so they have two levels of bikes. They do an SLR, which is their top level pro frame, pro builds, and they have the SL, which would be more like their mid-range, one step down on the carbon grade, and then some of the components are a little bit cheaper so that it's better value. And typically when Trek do a bike launch, they do the SLR, and then a year later they'll do the SL. This is the first time they've ever done the SLR and the SL both at the same time. So it's a big launch. It's the biggest launch they've ever done. And it's because it's a completely new model that didn't exist before. So we'll take it out of the box and then we'll tell you what it's called. They're under embargo, as you can see. So today is the 25th of June. They're under embargo till the 27th. So if you're watching this, it's after the 27th. Or at least it should be, or I've screwed up my YouTube uploads. So this is the one that I've been looking forward to, most excited about seeing and looking at on the SLR range. So we've got SLs and SLRs here. I'm going to start with the SLRs because they're the ones that I'm most excited about. So take the boxes and bits. So after we've done the bikes, we've also got something cool in that box and some more cool things in those boxes. We'll do some more videos on that. There's been some new products over the last couple of weeks. We'll do them separately. So this is a Madone SLR7, which means it's Ultegra. DI2 and WT is white. Thanks very much to Connor and Paul and a half dozen other people in Trek who were beating delivery drivers over the head to get this stuff here on time. It was potentially going to be late, so thanks lads for getting that sorted for us. Wouldn't have been much fun. We're doing a launch in store on Thursday, so we were almost doing a launch with like one bike, which wouldn't have been all that impressive. Anyway, we should probably let you have a look at it and see what the colour's like. So it's Era white and it's a marble finish on it with gold decals and gold writing. So the Project 1 is in gold, and you can see here it's a Madone, and these two, so Trek's social media campaign and marketing campaign was two worlds collide, and you see these two planets coming in, and then it turns into two circles which combines to make the number 8, which is the 8th generation of the Madone. The previous one is the 7th generation, so this is Gen 8 Madone. Gold logo. So there's some very interesting stories with the new Madone. It's combining the lightweight platform of the Amanda and the aero of the Madone. What's that when you've got like a mullet? It's serious up front and party out the back. So it could be like that. It's all serious sciencey stuff at the front where all the aero is, and lightweight and lively at the back. So I don't know that you call it a mullet bike, but Trek probably won't like that if I call it a mullet. Sorry guys. Anyway, so you can see the tyres on this one are Pirelli's P0 race TLRs. There's a couple of things about the new bike that are pretty important in terms of setup for the speed part of Trek's claims. So in terms of the differences between this bike and the previous generation Madone, so the the claims are that it's 77 seconds faster than the existing Monda, which, you know, when I heard that, it was like, okay, that's a lot of seconds over. That's over 40k. But the Amanda wasn't particularly aero. It had some aero stuff on it, but it wasn't like a Madone or even a lightweight Madone. So I think the more impressive claim is that when it's set up with, the SLRs come with these new aero bottles. You might have seen and pictured it. So when it's built and set up with the aero bottles, the new SLR is as fast as the new lightweight Madone is as fast as the SLR. So it's as fast as the Madone, but considerably lighter, probably a half a kilo depending on the size, lighter. The frame is 300 and I have some notes written over here on a piece of paper so I don't get things wrong. So it's 350 grams fork, 796 gram frame. So the frame is lighter by about 350 grams, I think, 320 grams lighter. And Trek typically quote things for in a medium large or a 56. That's also another interesting point. They've gone away from centimeter sizing, so 47, 50, 52 through to 62, and they've switched instead to, I think they call it alpha sizing, so small, S, M, ML. Oh, the skewer is really cool on this. That's a really nice detail. Hadn't seen that before. So it's gold, first of all, to match the gold logo, and they're recessed into the frame and the fork. So it's a little Allen key, pulls out and then slots back in and tightens, and it should obviously be, once your wheel is tightened, you should have because it's an aero skewer, you should have it's directional, so you don't want to have it like a brake pointing upwards, so you have it in line with the frame, I suppose. That's quite nice. And then the same skewer does both front and rear wheels, and you can see that the skewer is recessed into the frame, so it's more aero. Again, a lot of these aero benefits and stuff, they're really small, they're tiny gains. So I'm not sure where I was. You all right, young man? That's all right, no problem. That's okay, no problem. You guest star today in the video. No problem at all, you walk away. So I'm not sure where I was before we stopped on the skewer bit, so I'm just gonna, was it the weight and the speed? So as lighter than the existing Madone and as fast as it. I believe when we were at Trek for the presentation on the new bike, the story that we got was that this originally started out being a new Amanda, which is normally the way the product cycle would go. So 2 years ago it started out as the development of a new Amanda when the Madone, the Gen8 launched, and at some point they generally make a list of things that they want to improve on. So they wanted to make the existing Amanda lighter, faster, more aero, probably more comfortable and all that sort of stuff. So they make this list of things and they start working on it, and over a period of time they start to hit targets. And at some point they got to a stage where somebody said, I wonder, could we make it as fast as the Madone and lighter? And at that stage, I suppose you'd probably start to question, well, if it's as fast as the aero bike and it's lighter, so it's going to climb better and sprint and accelerate faster, why would you have two bikes? And I was really annoyed. I sort of got a hint that this was coming about a year ago, and I'm a big fan of the Madone. I think it's the most beautiful bike out there. I think the big deep tubes and stuff like that are very cool. It's a really nice canvas for the paint, and the Project One guys do a great job with it. And I was really disappointed at the thoughts that the Madone might be going away. And I went through the last 9 or 10 months of denial, hoping it wasn't going to happen. And I went into the presentation not really looking forward to what I was pretty sure was coming, which was a replacement for the Madone. But I left after seeing it and seeing the numbers and listening to the tech and sort of being fairly convinced. So I think I'm pretty excited to ride one and try it. I've been very disciplined so far. We haven't got an awful lot of bikes in for the first delivery, and we've a lot of people coming to see them at the launch, so I haven't taken any of the stock bikes out to ride them. We're keeping them for customers. I'll be good and wait for my own one to arrive. Anyway, the combination of much lighter and the same speed as the Madone. Like the speed of the Madone is one of the things that I really, really like. It's the fastest road bike I've ever ridden by a huge margin. Like, they are just insanely quick. And I was riding, I'm lucky enough to have a couple of bikes, so I was out on the Domani, the RSL, the race version of it, with a couple of mates, and we were doing a pretty hilly route, and I'd been on the Madone for a couple of months and went out on the Domani, and I was really impressed at how lively the Domani was. The Domani, the RSL, is very light, and I was running a shallower wheel and stuff like that, and I thought it was a real difference between the Madone, how fast it was when it's rolling compared to the way it climbs or accelerates on a climb. So when I'm looking at this and thinking, this is going to give me the speed of the Madone when you put the aero bottles on it, plus the acceleration and the liveliness of a much lighter bike, I'm really looking forward to riding it. That's a really nice colour. That's pretty gorgeous. Anyway, new carbon. It's 900 series OCLV. The previous one was 800 series OCLV in the SLR. The ISOFlow has been redesigned slightly to improve aerodynamics, and it gives better compliance, so it's more comfortable. You've got increased clearance. You can run up to 32mm tyres. Trek tend to be quite conservative with their numbers. If you go above that and break your frame, it's on you. But from a warranty point of view, they're saying you're good with 32s. The aero bottle placement is important, that you place them correctly. They need to be positioned in a really specific way to give you the aero benefit. What else do we need to talk about? ISOFlow, RSL. Oh yeah, cockpit. So the cockpit in the leaked shots we'd seen it looks very similar to the current Madone one, but it's subtly different. So it's shallower. It's not as deep, and it's thicker this way. So it's actually a little bit taller. And I'm going to butcher the explanation for this because I'm not an aerodynamicist. But the idea with the change in the shape of the bar, the deeper shape in the bar, is as it hits that, it's slowing the wind down so that when it hits you, it's hitting you slower. Aerodynamically, it sort of makes sense, I believe. I'm trusting them. Because it's shallower, it's also lighter. The other big thing that I'm a fan of with the Madones is the new bars are all flared. So I traditionally would have ridden a 42 centre to centre bar. So a 42 centre to centre at the drops is now 39 centre to centre at the hood. So it puts you in a narrower, more aero position. And that made a really big difference to the speed when I started riding that. So much so that I immediately tried the smallest bar they make, which was at the time 38 with a 35 on the top. So I'm now riding a 35, and that's quicker again. And that's a noticeable improvement in speed. Like, I see that in the average speed on rides when I'm out. That one change is a big difference. And as we've seen that trend, the problem was with that, smaller bars were typically aimed at smaller riders, so they were very limited stem length wise. So you'll have seen a lot of the pros were riding narrow bars, but they were riding a regular RSL bar with a regular stem because the one-piece cockpit wasn't made long enough for them. So the new bar now comes in 110, 120 and 130 mil lengths in a 35, so a real pro or amateur race fit. There's a couple of other things that I thought we should talk about. Sizing, they've dropped size, so the 52 and 54 were very, very close in some measurements. So they've dropped that. They've gone to the alpha sizing, so they're going from extra small to extra large now. The extra large fits apparently up to 7 foot tall, so they've got a wider fit range. The extra small goes smaller than the old 47, so they fit more people with less sizes, which I thought was a pretty nifty trick. With the bottles, it's quicker sizes. Geometry is the same as the current SLR. It was H1.5 geometry, I think they call it. It's now called race geometry or something like that. And that's all I can think of to talk about on that. I'm sure I've missed a couple of things. We've got another 7 bikes to do, so we'll get the rest of it as we go through. Okay.